welcome back to the Girly Girl podcast. So, I've been thinking I really need to have an actual intro thing, maybe like a little song, but also, I don't know, we'll see. Feeling a little crusty today, feeling like my voice sounds a little iffy, but that's okay. It's a good day today. I'm actually recording this episode very far in advance. It is currently November 18th on a Tuesday. I'm in a school study hall, and I was like, might as well. And I decided to record this early just because I'm going out of town over Thanksgiving, so I won't have time to record. So, here we are, and I didn't want to do homework. So, productive procrastination, am I right? So, let's just start off with the best and worst of the week because, obviously, so for the best of the week, since I literally recorded an episode yesterday, I don't really have much to say, but I guess for the best of the day, today, it is now 1 p.m., so for the best of half the day, it's that I've been super productive recently, and it's been really good weather. It's been super sunny, which is great because usually here in Kentucky it's super cloudy and kind of disgusting. But it's been really nice out, and I love seeing the sun and really good fall vibes. And I think since I'm going out of town, I've been trying to get everything done. So I've been on a grind. Me saying this, even though I literally binged a whole TV show over the weekend. But I'm still getting stuff done, so I don't see the problem in that. And yeah, it's been a good week. It's been a good day today. I only have one more class left in the day. Then I just have to do some homework, do math tutoring. I have a math test tomorrow. Everyone send help. Literally, I did bad on the last math test, and that was when I understood the concepts. Now I have a math test over something I don't understand. So, we'll see. But I have faith. I'm gonna study a lot. I've been studying, but fingers crossed. So, my worst of the week, I couldn't really think of one. And why force negativity if you don't have to? So, we're just gonna skip that. As I said, it's been a pretty bomb-ass week. And I've noticed my intros are kind of becoming shorter, so let me know if you like that or if you like the little story times at the beginning. But I just thought since this episode was going to be probably fairly long or medium length, whatever, more than 30 minutes or something, I thought probably shouldn't waste time, just chatting for 15 minutes straight. But yeah, so let's just get into it. As I said, today I'm going to be talking about my struggle with acne, how it's affected my self-confidence, mental health, how my skin is currently doing, and I'm going to share some tips I have for clearer skin and self-confidence just related to insecurities you might have. And also, on my blog, carmen.com, linked in the description, check it out, I have a few posts related to skincare and acne, some tips, and also my acne journey. So if you're interested in hearing more and maybe finding out some more tips, then make sure to click the links in the description of this episode. And I just put 3 in there, so it's not all of them. So if you want to see more, you can make sure to go to my blog and then go to the beauty and fashion section, and you should be able to find some posts just about skin stuff. I love skincare. It's super fun. And yeah, time for the quote of the week. My favorite part, JK, not really, but actually finding these quotes is kind of super fun, but also stressful because usually I do it right before I'm supposed to record this episode because I forget about it. I'm like, oh, I guess I need a quote. But today, found this on Pinterest as I find all my quotes because Pinterest has a plethora of motivational, inspirational things. Those were the same thing I just said twice, but oh well. Okay, so my quote of the week is, "You were born to be real, not to be perfect." And I think this is a really important quote just for the topic of this week's episode, which is, again, acne. And yeah, and I think acne needs to be more normalized because we all experience it to some degree. Of course, some of us struggle with it a lot more than others. A few people just experience a few breakouts around their period or when they're a teenager. And I don't think you should ever make fun of someone for something they can't control, such as their skin, their acne, because most times everyone's doing everything they can to look what they think is beautiful or what people have deemed as beautiful, and acne is not a part of that. So people will try to cover it up or find ways to, fix it. But I think it's important that, we're all born real. We can't be perfect. It's not like how people are portrayed on social media. There's like a million filters. You honestly, if you know someone just off social media like Instagram or something, you probably don't know necessarily what their skin is, and you're probably looking at them and idolizing them and seeing them as this perfect person when in all reality they're probably struggling too. And I just think that's kind of what sucks about social media, is it makes everyone seem so perfect and not real. Today we're going to get real. We're going to talk about acne, which is something I have struggled with for a while now. But before we get into that, don't forget to leave a review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. You know the drill. Again, I appreciate everyone who has followed me on Instagram. I said this, I think, in last week's episode, but thank you for 1,000 followers. That's insane. And also, leave a review if you're feeling like it or not. But those always help me out with ratings and things. And also, it's super fun to hear what everyone has to say. And if you're liking the podcast, or maybe if you aren't, which everything's appreciated. And yeah, so let's just get into my struggle with acne. So I started getting really bad acne in 5th and 6th grade, and I didn't really know what was happening. It was like the height of puberty or whatever. No one else that I knew had their skin breaking out. It was just me and my sister, but my acne was way worse than hers. And then comes middle school, and I have this horrible hormonal acne. My whole entire face was covered. My back was too, and it would be super bad on my forehead. I literally have journal entries talking about like the mountain range on my forehead. It was pretty bad. And then I had scarring on my cheeks and on my temples, and it just made me feel really bad and really self-conscious about my skin. And I also remember when I was younger feeling bad that people had to be in the same room as me, or that they even had to look at my skin, because I was so ashamed of myself. I was so mad. I was like, how is this happening to me? How am I the only one? I always thought, I would think to myself, like, I am disgusting. I look disgusting, which of course is not true, but that's how I felt in the moment. And I think that really impacted my self-confidence and self-esteem. And since I was the only one at my school who had super bad acne during this time, I thought everyone would notice. I thought I would like stick up like a sore thumb or whatever that cliche phrase is. And I was also worried that boys wouldn't like me as much because of it, which probably sounds so stupid, but it's something that, it's something that as people, I guess, that everyone's probably thinking about, is that you want to be liked by the people that you like. And when you don't feel so great about yourself, you assume everyone else notices this. But to be honest, you're probably the person who notices the most about yourself. And most people probably aren't just looking at your skin. And if someone really likes you, then they won't not talk to you or not date you just because of your acne, because acne's temporary and it's not permanent and it goes away. And I think that's something that everyone should keep in mind, especially, I don't know, if maybe you want to date someone, but you're like, they have acne, I know that might seem like a turn off or whatever, but I mean, it's temporary, it goes away, it's not a big deal, and they're probably struggling with some things that might not be so surface level. And relating back to how I was worried that boys wouldn't like me because of my acne, to be fair, they didn't like me, but it wasn't because of my acne. It was honestly because I had no self-confidence and was also super strange. If you listen to my middle school journal entries episode, then you probably could figure that out. But when I was younger, I was super shy. I was very artsy, such a vibe. I would say my fashion sense was pretty questionable, and I was honestly scared to talk to boys, and I just assumed they would all come to me, which did not happen. I.e., oh, that's so I didn't have a boyfriend in middle school, and that's okay. I'm happy I did. I don't think I would have been a very good girlfriend, and I wasn't really feeling myself. And I did everything I could to try and cure my acne. I read books about it. I watched YouTube videos. And I remember when I was younger, I would search the internet for any way that I could clear my acne. I tried DIY masks, which don't do that. There's a reason why companies make masks and you don't mush bananas in a bowl and put it on your face. But I had this one book, I think it was called The Clear Skin Diet. And this really just helped me learn about how your skin isn't just affected by surface level things, which is what I had generally thought up until this point, which is around, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, sometime in middle school. I always just thought my skin was breaking out because of what I'm putting on it, or because of the face wash I'm using, because of the moisturizer I'm using. But this book helped me realize that my problems with my skin weren't always surface level, and that they could be related to the food I was eating, or my hormones, or my mood. And I thought this was really interesting and super eye-opening because I had never thought about it before. It turned out that my acne was related to my hormones, so that led me to trying a bunch of different products and medicine. Of course, I still tried drugstore products, but that made me break out even more. And I had so many pimples. My skin was so oily. I was so done. So I would put on the harshest products and it would dry my skin out, and then I'd be oilier the next day and have even more breakouts. So don't do that. And I even had to go to the dermatologist, and I had to go on antibiotics, and that didn't help. And then I had to go on another medicine, which still wasn't getting rid of my acne. And then finally I had to go on Accutane for 10 months. And I'm sure a lot of you, if you've heard about Accutane, it seems like this super scary, awful thing. Birth defects, whatever. But Accutane honestly really saved my skin, and I also think my mental health. And I didn't really have any of the bad side effects. I mean, my skin was pretty dry. My lips were super dry. I loved it for my hair because I didn't have to wash my hair that much. But my sister, who also took it, she had some pretty bad side effects. She had really bad dryness around her lips, and then also it messed with her knee and the bones or whatever, and she already had knee problems. It led her to having to get surgery, but besides the point, I loved Accutane, okay? It was so good. My skin looked amazing. It got rid of all my scarring, all my acne. I remember taking it. I was like, I wish I could take this forever. It was amazing. I loved it. But the first few months of Accutane were pretty rough because you have to go through a purging phase, which is where everything comes up and it feels pretty hopeless, and your skin is never going to get better, and you're thinking to yourself, I thought it already was bad and was the worst it was going to get. And then no. Pull out an Uno reverse card. Psych, it gets 10 times worse. But then, it clears up, it gets better. And I really loved Accutane, and it kept my skin clear for a few years. And moving on to like freshman year, this was maybe a year or two after I took Accutane. I had some small breakouts, of course, around like when had my period or just from stress. And in high school or throughout high school, I've been taking another medicine that's just for my skin and hormonal acne, which has kept my skin pretty tamed, I guess I would say. It's been pretty effective. And I want to share a short little story from freshman year. So in my freshman year health class, we had to give speeches, and I don't really remember what the prompt was, but I gave a speech about my acne and how my acne made me feel. And I honestly forgot how emotional it made me. And when I was doing my speech, I totally went off script. I just started talking, and I literally cried in front of all the girls in my grade. And I don't think I realized until then how much going through this process had an effect on me. I always just thought it was just like skin surface level, not like skin deep or whatever, being me throwing out some puns. Is that a pun? I don't know. But in that, I think was a really big realization that my acne has affected me, and hasn't just affected my skin and I guess me hormonally, but it's really affected my mental health. And when I was younger, my breakouts would make me feel ugly, and I would be ashamed, and I always forgot that, everyone breaks out. It's normal, and I really wished I realized that sooner. And I still struggle with this criticizing mindset, and I won't lie and say that I'm perfect, and that when I break out, it doesn't completely piss me off and make me sad. But I would say I've gotten better, but it's just really hard to deal with. And I think anyone who has acne knows that, or if you know someone who's struggled a lot with acne and their skin and just like a skin journey. And I think it's hard to get into this mindset that your acne doesn't make you ugly, and that you can have acne and still be beautiful. And I think society trains us to think that our acne is gross and that it isn't normal. You have makeup like concealers that cover up acne, foundations, whatever. In social media, magazines, TV, you never see someone with acne. And when they do, they make it this whole big thing. You have movie scenes where someone will have a school picture and they have a giant pimple on their face, or at least that's what it's made out to be, and it's a big deal. And the movie really exaggerates it about how bad having acne is and how you should feel bad about it. And I think that's what makes it so hard, especially for younger people, when it's really hard to feel confident in yourself, because you see so many standards of beauty, and when you don't see how you look there, then it can make you feel like an outsider and like you aren't good enough or you aren't beautiful just because you don't meet the current standard. And I think it's important to point out that beauty standards change throughout the years, like a bunch. So right now, what we think is beautiful or what we think is trendy probably won't be the norm for what beauty is or what's trendy when we have kids. And not saying that what we have right now is not beautiful, because it is, but I think just thinking the way one person looks, or the color of one person's skin, or their hair, or their eyes, or their body shape, that's the only definition of beauty, I think that really makes us ignorant, and I don't think that's true at all. I think everyone's beautiful in their own ways, and that's what makes us so special. And I don't think acne should take away from someone's beauty, because I think the main thing that makes someone beautiful is self-confidence. And recently there's been a TikTok trend where it shows someone singing a song where they don't look very confident, and then they do a little transition. They're in the same clothes, it's the same day, and they look 100 times better. And it's just because they're showing some self-confidence, and you can really see the difference. And I think as long as you have some self-confidence, you like exude beauty, you're great. And of course that's hard to do, but beauty is not always what's on the outside. I mean, self-confidence can really exemplify, I don't know if that's a word, but exemplify the beauty you already have. And yeah, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. And I just think relating back to this mindset, it's really hard when there are so many insults thrown at you or related to acne or things that people say to your face. And most of them are pretty unintentional, but it can still be hurtful. I wrote down a few. The first one is when you're just talking to someone about your face. I've had this experience where in high school I'll be talking about, oh my gosh, my skin's breaking out so much, it's making me really upset. I feel like it's going back to what it was in middle school, and someone will just say, it's just one pimple, or it's just a few pimples, it's no big deal. But one pimple can be pretty triggering to people who have suffered from severe acne. So no, it's not just one pimple. And I think that's what people don't realize, is that acne is not just about these red bumps on your face. It's really not. It's about how it makes you feel about yourself and how you feel in your own skin. And by telling someone it's just one pimple, that makes them feel like, oh, I shouldn't be worried about this. Like, it's no big deal. And that their opinions aren't valid, which is totally not true. So please never say this to anyone, because it will not make them feel better, and it's not reassuring. And I mean, you can, if someone's complaining about their skin breaking out, maybe you could tell them, like, oh, I didn't notice. You're beautiful. I didn't notice. Your skin doesn't define you. I never look at when people break out. Like, when people have told me that, that's what makes me feel good. If I ask someone, I'm like, hey, did you notice that I was breaking out? They're like, no, not until you just pointed it out. And I think that's really interesting, that we see things that other people don't, and that we're probably our worst critic, which is, I mean, it kind of sucks, but also I think it just makes you realize how hard you are on yourself and how everyone else really just doesn't care. I don't know if that's reassuring or not, but just a little, I don't know what it's called, like centering, mindset. I don't know. So the next phrase that pisses me off is, you should wash your face more often. Like, bitch, excuse me? I wash my face every fucking day. Don't you dare come at me with that, okay? This one pisses me the fuck off, okay? And I just, obviously I wash my face, okay? So don't tell me to wash my face. And, no, especially if we're not friends. And that's it, period. I have nothing else to say about that one, and I think it speaks for itself. Just don't say that, and don't be an asshole. Okay, the next one is, it's no big deal. It's just acne. At least you're not blah, blah, blah. You know, this phrase really devalues your emotions and how you're feeling, and I think it's not fair for anyone to say this. And I think it's important, just because someone else's acne might not seem like a big deal to you, it might be to this person. I mean, it might be affecting their mental health or their self-confidence, how they feel about themselves, how they portray themselves. So you saying that it's no big deal, or relating it to something that's worse or could be worse, you don't know. So I don't think you should be saying that. And also, everyone's perspective is different, so you shouldn't make assumptions. And people struggle with things that we don't always know. I mean, there's always quotes going around that, like, you only see like 20% of what someone's going through, so you shouldn't assume, you know, their whole life or their whole life story. And just because you think it's only a few bumps on someone's face, it could mean a lot more to the person you're criticizing. So, I mean, it's not even worth it to say these things, and it's just hurtful. So, the last one I have as a little thing, this one's kind of a story time. So when I was at camp, or quick backstory. So I used to go to camp for quick backstory. So for 6 summers in a row, I went to this camp in Massachusetts. And one day I was just walking around the camp. I was hanging out with some little girls, and one of them walked up to me and she asked me, she grabbed my face and she goes, "What are those red dots on your face?" And I said, "Excuse me?" What? I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Those red dots." And in my head, I was like, "This bitch. Like, seriously?" And I know she's little and doesn't know, but I was like, "Oh my God." And I just told her, I told her they were fairy kisses, and she believed me, but in my head, I was like, "Oh, shut the fuck up. Like, you're gonna be," I was like 12 or 13, and I was like, "You're gonna be 12 and your skin's gonna be breaking out, so shut up." But I didn't say that. I told her they were fairy kisses. Of course, she's super innocent. She's just this little girl, but it hurt to know that even a child was noticing my acne and how bad my skin was. And this made me super self-conscious. Because, I mean, if a little 5-year-old kid was looking at my skin and the first thing she saw was my acne, what was everyone else seeing? And it just really made me feel pretty shitty and self-conscious. So, moral of the story, don't point out someone's acne unless they bring it up. And it's none of your business. And the person is most likely doing everything in their power to get their acne under control and to make it, better or to heal their skin. So don't be like this little girl, even though I'm sure she didn't mean anything rude, but I sound so stupid complaining about like being butthurt about a little girl. But I mean, it wasn't just because it was a little girl. It was more about what she said than who she was, which I think is an important part of the story. So let's go back to, I guess, like acne journey. We took a quick pit stop at some phrases, but I want to go back to my acne journey and where I'm at right now. So it's currently junior year, and over sophomore year, my skin was pretty good. I mean, I broke out a few times. It wasn't super bad, just like normal things. And then this summer, I was like, "Oh my gosh, my skin is so good. It looks great." And I stopped taking my skin medication that I had been for, I don't know, like a year or something, because I thought it was messing up my period because my period was super irregular, and I was looking up side effects of this medication, and that was one of the side effects. So I was like, "Oh, if I just stop taking it, then my period can get normal, and then I can just start taking it again if I need to." But I just assumed since my skin looked fine that it would be fine, and this made my skin freak the fuck out. And the first few weeks were fine. I was living my best life. My skin was great. I felt gorgeous. I looked great. I was feeling myself super self-confident. I was exuding positive vibes, And then it was like August, and my skin just like freaked out, attacked me, whatever. I had acne everywhere. And for the first time since middle school, my back started breaking out. And for the first time ever, my chest was breaking out. And I was so confused. I was so sad. This made me feel absolutely horrible. Which, I mean, yes, it's not as bad as it was in middle school, but that's not the point. It doesn't matter. It still makes me self-conscious. It still makes me feel bad. And I don't think it's anyone's business about how my skin makes me feel, because this is what's going on with me. And anyone who's saying it's not that bad, like, you don't actually know how it is. Maybe just looking at my skin, it might not be that bad, but it's not like you can look into my head and see how it makes me feel. And I've cried like a countless amount of times just because of my skin. And sometimes it feels like it just won't get better. But I have hope, especially since if I go back on Accutane, I'm excited for that. But also with Accutane, you have to get your blood tested, once a month and do a pregnancy test just because it can cause birth defects. So they don't want you to get pregnant. And that's a lot. And it's pretty strong medicine. And I'm just kind of worried about that. And I'm hoping I don't get as bad side effects. I mean, I was fine the first time, but I don't want to be like my sister because that's really hard. And I'm going to the beach over Thanksgiving, right? And I'm feeling pretty self-conscious about wearing a bikini on the beach. This has never happened to me in my entire life, which is feels super weird. I've never been self-conscious about wearing a bathing suit. I've always loved my body. And I just felt like shit. And I tried taking one pill a day for the medicine because it's supposed to be twice a day, but I was like, if I just take half of it, then it'll probably help. But my skin continued to get worse. The medicine stopped helping, and a few months ago I had to start taking it twice a day again, and it still hasn't been helping. And I told my dad, who's a doctor, and now I'm gonna have to go to the dermatologist. I have an appointment scheduled in December, and I might have to be going on Accutane again. And I mean, this is like a double-edged sword. I don't know if that's what you call it, but like, I'm happy to get my skin better, but also I feel really awful to my parents because I've already had to go on this before, and it's a pretty expensive medication, and I feel like they're just wasting money. And I'm just mad at myself that I wasn't able to obtain or to keep my skin at the level it was when I finished Accutane. And I just feel pretty bad. And my skin breaking out again, and really, I would say relatively severely, brings me back to a dark place where I was in middle school. And it's made me get back into some bad habits that have made my skin worse. And I know that they make my skin worse, but I have been doing them, and it's not helping me out in the slightest. And it's just making everything worse, such as touching my face, picking pimples or whatever, and eating unhealthy foods. I kind of just gave up on getting better, and sometimes my acne really just hurts. Physically, mentally. I mean, I have acne on my back, and some days it's super painful and it just hurts, and my skin's so dry and it just like itches, and it's gross. And then when you get like an infected pimple, it just hurts. And looking at myself in the mirror, I just feel like I'm unworthy and that I'm like bad and not pretty just because my skin is breaking out. Or when I have people say, "Oh, Carmen, like your skin looks like it's really breaking out. Looks like you're struggling. Have you been doing X, Y, or Z?" Stuff like that just makes me feel really bad, and I think it's really hurtful. And some people could look at me and look at my skin and say, "Oh, it's not that bad." I've always felt pretty confident with my body. It's always just been acne that I've pretty much just struggled with. And I'm just worried because my back looks really bad, and it makes me super self-conscious, and I'm not happy with how it looks. And I know that when I go to the beach or I'm swimming, someone's gonna point it out, and it's gonna make me feel shitty, and like I just want to throw on a sweatshirt or something, you know? But I'm not gonna let this stop me, and I don't want it to stop you either. I know how hard it can be. So if you have acne and you have to do something similar, let's say you have to do a presentation and your face is breaking out, I challenge you to still do that presentation. Still go through everything. Like, don't let your acne stop you. I mean, this reminds me of those period commercials where it's like Tampax, when they're like tampons, whatever. Don't let your period stop you from doing the things you love. And it's like showing people exercising or whatever. This is like this. Don't let your acne stop you from doing things that you love. Maybe you love public speaking, but you feel like because your skin's breaking out, you don't feel as confident and like you can't do it. You gotta do it. And after you do, you'll probably feel much better. And there won't be anything that you really needed to be worrying about, which is so much easier to say after you've done something. but just trust me. And I have some tips for you so to not let your acne get in the way. And these are just some tips for clearer skin and like self-confidence with insecurities. So the first one is if you are worried about like your skin breaking out and stuff, don't cover everything with makeup. If anything, that's going to make it like 10 times worse. Makeup clogs your pores, especially if you don't take it off. And if you are going to wear makeup, maybe you're a dancer and have to, or maybe you just feel better wearing makeup, make sure not to sleep in it 100%, because this, I swear to you, will make you break out so much. So, moral of the story, if you're going to wear makeup, make sure to remove it before you go to bed. And if you don't have to wear makeup, don't. Especially, I mean, of course you can do like lip stuff, eye stuff, eyebrows, but I wouldn't suggest putting on concealer or foundation as much, especially if it's super heavy. But if you found one of those products that doesn't break you out, then by all means go ahead. For me, makeup, whenever I wear it, I break out so much, and I don't know if this is just because I have sensitive skin or because of the products I used, but I'd be very conscious about just what you're putting on your face. So my next tip is to consistently wash your face. And you're like, duh. But I mean, I think some people skip this, especially boys. I know my brother didn't start washing his face till the past year, and he has amazing skin. It's super annoying, but you need to wash your face every day, and probably it will be 2 times a day depending on your skin type. If you have super dry sensitive skin, then 1 time a day, whatever. And you don't want to overwash, and you want to use a gentle product, not something that's going to be super harsh and stripping. Like, you need to be careful about the drugstore products that are aimed for people with acne. Those are going to make you break out more because they're going to dry out your skin and make you produce more oil, which is just going to break you out more. So you're going to get trapped in that cycle. So use gentle products. I'm really obsessed with the Crave Beauty Matcha Hemp Cleanser. It's super gentle. It's really good. I'm obsessed with Crave. It's Krave. They're not sponsoring this, I wish. But it's super good if you want to check that out. I've heard fairly decent things about the Glossier Milky Jelly Cleanser, which is for gentle skin. I know a lot of people love CeraVe or Cetaphil. Those haven't really worked best for me, but of course try those out if you're looking for an affordable alternative. And I would also suggest that you don't change your products like every other day, because this will cause breakouts, and you need to stay consistent because your skin slightly freaks out when you try a new product and can get irritated or be confused or whatever. So you want to stay consistent. Once you find a product you like, use it. Of course, when seasons change, you'll probably have to change a few products or something, and I mean, you'll have to change them at some point, but you don't need to be changing your product like every day, or using 3 different moisturizers, or having a cleanser for the morning and a cleanser for the night. You do not need that. That's just advertising bullshit that people say you need. Trust me, you don't. You just need 1 cleanser, 1 moisturizer, whatever, and you're good to go. So my next tip is related to self-confidence, and that's just be kind to yourself, and don't be so hard on yourself if your skin doesn't improve overnight, because it takes time, and it's not something that's gonna happen within a second. I mean, it takes a while, and I've noticed that when I'm nicer to myself and not as hard on myself, thinking, oh my gosh, my skin's still breaking out, it looks so bad, I can't believe my skin isn't getting better, that it actually ends up getting better faster. And I'm not sure if that's because I'm just not paying as much attention to my skin or looking at it as closely. But when I'm kinder to myself, I feel more confident, and like my acne isn't such a big thing, and it doesn't feel like this huge weight on my shoulder, something that's holding me back or pulling me down, whatever. And I think it's just important to be kind to yourself and give yourself a break. And this is related to my next tip, which is just be patient with yourself, with your skin, and just know that it takes time and that healing your acne can be a super hard journey, especially mentally, and can sometimes be physically painful too. But I mean, you got this. Just be patient. I know how hard it can be, especially when you've been wanting your skin to be clear for so long. But just trust me, it's okay. I've heard really great things about Curology. My friend actually uses it and she loves it. And I've seen a lot of people on YouTube, they get like a lot of sponsorships or they sponsor a lot of people. But if you're looking for something affordable, maybe you can't go to the dermatologist, try Curology. I think it's pretty affordable and it's gives you things that could be prescribed by a dermatologist, and I think that's always a good alternative. So if you're on the journey to clear skin, you really should take some progress photos every few days just to show yourself how much your skin has improved. And I really wished I did this when I was taking Accutane, because at times I just felt awful. I felt like nothing was happening. I felt like Accutane wasn't doing anything. And I really wish I had these photos to look back on. And I think it'll boost your confidence and it'll keep you motivated. And it's also a constant reminder to keep up your healthy routine. And you can even then like make a slideshow of all the videos, show your family, I don't know, make a slideshow, show your friends. You know that TikTok trend? You do like slideshow presentation night, I don't know. Do like a slideshow of your acne journey, whatever. But I mean, it's always nice to look back on and just see how much has changed and how much can get better. My next tip is to get your hands off your face. Don't touch your face and stop picking it. Stop touching it. Don't pick, don't pop, don't touch. Okay? Your face, treat it like a museum. You can look, but you can't touch. Okay? And I mean, popping your pimples and picking them causes scarring. This is why I had so much scarring on my face, because I would consistently keep popping them, and I got into a really bad habit with it, and it gets really addicting and it's just not good. But I know how hard it is, but resist. It can be super helpful too if you just, I mean, don't get so close to the mirror, because then you're done, okay? It's game over. Then you're going to be sitting in front of your mirror for like 20 minutes. When you look back again, your whole face is going to be red because you were just picking all your pimples. Don't do that. And also, relating to mirrors, if you have one of those mirrors that gets super close to your skin and like it's kind of like a zoomed in or whatever, throw it away, okay? Throw it away or put it in a closet, hide it in your bathroom, get it out of sight. Because this will make you just want to pick and pop all your pimples so much more, because everything looks huge. It looks gigantic and you just are obsessed. And I don't know, maybe this is just me, but I can't have those mirrors in my bathroom, because if I did, then I would be sitting in front of my mirror all day, popping all these pimples, and it just makes your skin worse. I've noticed the best thing to do is just to leave it alone. It makes your skin heal faster. I mean, popping your pimples does not make your pimples go away faster. If anything, it's just gonna like scab and then take longer to heal, and then maybe it'll get infected and then it's like a whitehead again and you have to wait. So I don't suggest that. And let's say your skin is not related to what you've been putting on it, what products you have been using, and you notice even though you're using all these great products, all these gentle cleansing products, that your skin is still breaking out, then it's either due to your diet or some hormonal issue you might have. So relating to your diet, you need to pay attention to what foods break you out or make your skin feel super greasy. For me, this is dairy and sugary products or over-processed things, and this is also super common. I read about it in the book that I mentioned earlier, The Clear Skin Diet, but I noticed the least amount when I eat the least amount of sweets, my skin breaks out less. And also, when I don't eat things like burgers or ice cream, my skin thanks me for it. So just eating a healthy, balanced diet, I think will really help. And if your skin isn't affected by sugar or dairy, you're blessed. That's amazing. And I'm not telling you to cut stuff out of your diet because I know how hard that can be, but try reducing it. I mean, I've been able to pretty much cut out ice cream, which one just makes me kind of feel sick, and two, it would make me break out really badly. So I don't eat ice cream anymore, and I just replaced it with sorbet or something, or smoothie bowls or whatever. And you can do something like that. Or for sugar, fruit is good. You can maybe have a set amount of things you want to eat, or just eat a little bit, but you don't want to overindulge in something, because balance is always important. And it's just pay attention to your diet and try to eat healthier and stay hydrated. Water is so important for your skin. You need it for your skin to be more elastic, for it to be more glowy, for it to heal faster. Water pretty much like solves everything. So if you're super dehydrated, try carrying around a water bottle with you. Like right now when I'm recording this episode, I have my Hydro Flask on my desk, which I'm obsessed with. I say this like literally every week, but I'm obsessed with it. It's the best thing ever. And I noticed having a water bottle, like a straw sort of thing, it makes me drink so much more. And I've been getting less headaches, and it really helps my skin out. And let's say now, so you've decided that your skin isn't breaking out due to your products or to your diet, and that just leaves one thing: your hormones. So when it comes to this, when your acne has gotten super bad, super severe, I really suggest you see a dermatologist. Even if your skin might not be that bad, or you think, oh, it's not that bad, it's always great if you have the means to go see a doctor about it. Go to the dermatologist. And if your acne is too overwhelming, just go to the doctor. And I promise this will help you out and set you on a path for success. And my dermatologist literally saved my skin, and I'm so grateful for her. It's just amazing what medicine can do. That's where I got Accutane. That's where my skin finally cleared up. And I'm really excited to see her again. This is so weird. I'm excited to see my dermatologist again in December to see if I need Accutane. Yay, I'm excited to go to the doctor. Woohoo! No, it's like, I don't know. It's kind of weird though, because when you go to the dermatologist, they're super close to your face, and they have these magnifying like glasses, which kind of makes me feel a little self-conscious. But I mean, they give you medicine, they try to help you out, and they can prescribe products. So if yours aren't working, then you can try that out too. Also, so that was the last of my tips. And I just want you to know you are beautiful, you are worthy, and your acne doesn't define you. Your insecurities don't define you or make you any less beautiful. You're gorgeous inside and out. And I'm just so happy you stuck around and listened to my little skin rant. I hope that this let you get to know me a bit better. And also, reminder to check out the blog post I linked in my description. And also I have a link to the cleanser and Curology if you're interested in checking that out. And again, remember to leave a review, subscribe, follow, do all the things. You already know the drill. And check out all the links in the description of the episode to find my blog, newsletter, email, etc. And if you aren't already, follow me on Instagram at the Girly Girl Podcast. And I'll see you next week. And I'm super happy that you stuck around. I hope you have an amazing day. And just know that I'm here, I'm with you. And let's just keep in mind the quote of the week for when we just going through life. I don't know. I think it's pretty good. Is that you were born to be real, not to be perfect. And I'm just going to close it off at that. And I'll see you next week. Bye, girlies.